Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone. And shalom to you sincere brethren out there. Mr. Brother Paya Allah. And this lesson, I want to get into Nate's recent outcoming, coming out of his grand opening of a new school. And I want to go into the scriptures and cut all of that, everything he's saying. So I want to start off with Micah 2:10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. And that's the Nate's forward thinking, because in the video that's what he's speaking about. Any forward thinking Israelite institute should basically build a school. But the Lord said, look, this is not our rest, man. The reason why America was brought into existence was basically for captivity, and in the last days to raise up the elect when Esau comes in like a flood. So when you think about that, really what you should be questioning is, how on earth am I going to be saved? And it tells you in Proverbs 18:10, the name of the Lord is a strong tower, the righteous running into it, and it runneth into it and is safe. So the name of the Lord is how you're going to be saved in these last days. So the main question you got to ask is, why does Nate not have the name? Now this is a little excerpt from a website called hushmoney.org, and it's under 501c3 charter, or 501c3. So it reads, it says, most churches in America have organized as 501c3 tax exempt religious organizations. This is a fairly recent trend that has only been going on for about 50 years. Churches were added to section 501c3 of the tax code in 1954. We can thank Senator Lyndon B. Johnson for that. Johnson was no ally of the church. As part of his political agenda, Johnson had it in mind to silence the church and eliminate the significant influence the church had always had on shaping public policy. So from that little bit so far, it tells you that the reason why the 501c3 was brought into creation was basically for the government to keep tabs on what the church brings out to the people. Basically to have a restraining order or a retainer, basically a muzzle on what all the pastors say. Okay, so next follows on to say, although Johnson proffered this as a favor to churches, the favor also came with strings attached, more like shackles. One need not look far to see the devastating effects of the 501c3 acceptance has had to the church, and the consequent restrictions placed upon any 501c3 church. 501c3 churches are prohibited from addressing in any tangible way the vital issues of today. So Nate, like we said before, the name of the Lord is basically how we're going to be saved, and that's a vital issue of the day, because the Lord said he will give his name in these days that we're in right now. Put into remembrance, even though you knew these things before. So he's actually been put in by the government as a stumbling block to 2/3 of Israel, but really from the Most High to be a stumbling block unto the nation of Israel, to gather up 2/3 scribes and wicked Pharisees. Okay, for a 501c3 church to openly speak out or organize in opposition to anything that the government declares legal, even if it is immoral, for example, abortion, homosexuality, etc. That's why you have what's this guy's name, man? Johanna's a fucking 501c3 charter church, and that's why he accepts homosexuals, because he can't speak out against it. That church would jeopardize its tax exempt status. The 501c3 has had a chilling effect upon the free speech rights of the church. Lyndon Baines Johnson was a shrewd and cunning politician who seemed to well appreciate how easily many of the clergy would sell out. Yep, and Nate's part of the clergy response team that's basically being set up for when Esau comes in like a flood during the time of Jacob's trouble. That's why he ain't teaching in the name. That's why he ain't teaching about the chip. Now dealing with his new school, when you read the book of Acts 7:48, it tells you that the Most High ain't in no temples made with hands. He said he built the whole world. The earth is, the heaven is his throne. The earth is his footstool. So what can you build me? Because he made everything. So that shows you ain't inside no building. First off, then when you read even Matthew 24:2, it tells you that there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. So basically everything's going to be thrown down to the ground. There ain't going to be nothing left, and especially in America, because America's going to be destroyed in World War III by ICBMs. So we ain't meant to be in no building. What we're meant to be doing is going on the highways and byways and teaching the elect, sealing the elect of the nation of Israel. So this is Ezekiel 9:4. And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men, that's not women, because you know, or children, because you know that Nate's whole agenda is about appealing to women and children, having a place and a nursery, and just basically offering women to choose from the men in the congregation, which is fucking off. There's nothing biblical about that. You know what I mean? So, as I was saying, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. So that's how we're commanded to seal the elect, by going into the city centre, going into the highways and byways in the midst of Jerusalem, which is the 12 tribes of Israel and those of our people that are dispersed, and gathering in the name of the Lord, Yahweh Shem El Shai. That's where the Lord will be found, not in any building, and especially not with any false prophet without the name of the Lord, man. So the only building that's being built right now is a spiritual house, which is headed by the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and where we, the 12 tribes, the 144,000 children of Israel, are the lively stones. 1 Peter 2:5, ye also as lively stones are built up a spiritual house and holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable unto Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. So that's the only spiritual house you're gonna find. So Nate is talking a whole load of bullshit. Everything he's talking about is not biblical. It is not found in the Bible. Building up schools in these last days is not necessary. The Lord commanded us to go on the highways and byways, which he is not doing. He doesn't go on the highways and byways. You can't find him out there during the winter time, mainly, as opposed to in the summertime where he barely comes out for 2-3 months, if that. So with that, I hope you were edified. I say all praises to Yahweh Bar Sham Yahweh Shai. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone, and shalom to you sincere brethren.